if you're looking for some of the highest converting lead ad strategies in 2025 as a realtor, in this video, I'm going to give you the exact roadmap, which ads to run, how to convert the leads you generate from the ads. Not only that, but also I'm going to run you through some of the biggest lessons I've learned after personally spending thousands of dollars in lead generation ads specifically to generate real estate leads. So let's get started with it. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notifications if you want to watch more videos like this. So let's get rolling with this. So the first point I want to cover, right, is I guess I'm going to give you like a little idea like which ads should you actually run in the first place, and should you run ads right now, right? So if you're looking into this, most likely at this point you have some budget, right? Like you have some cash. And I'll be honest, to run ads in general, if you have like less than $500 a month, yes, you can generate buyers. You can call them 10 hours a day from like a Facebook lead form. But if you want to generate, I guess, a bit of like higher converting type of leads, you're going to have at least like $600, $700, $800 per month as a minimum. That's what I advise my clients. That's what I experienced for myself. If not, there are other strategies where those $500, $600, $700 could yield a better return, right? So that's the first point. But assuming you have money, right? Now, I'm gonna give you like there are not many platforms where you can there are not that many platforms where you can actually run ads, right? You could do YouTube ads, you could do Facebook ads, you could do Google ads, and I'm gonna give you, I guess, a little idea how each works, right? Right now, YouTube ads looks like YouTube ads right now is kind of the hot trend, right? Everybody's like, oh, run YouTube ads, do this, do that, and they do work. Like Facebook ads work and Google ads work. Everything works. That's that's the first point. Is that all of this together, they work, assuming you have the right strategy. Okay, so that's the most important part. Most people do not succeed with lead generation ads because they don't have the right strategy. But assuming you do, okay, what is the best one? Well, it depends. So YouTube ads is if you're comfortable on camera and you like the camera, you want to be on camera, you want to be the front facing, you want to be the face, right, of your brand, and you want to put your face out there, right? You want people to see you on these skippable ads before they are watching a video on YouTube. Like, the cool thing about YouTube is that the Google algorithm knows exactly like which who's now searching for top realtor in city, whatever, right? So they're pretty cool. The point is, if you're not comfortable on camera, I've seen people run YouTube ads with actors, with what I call UGC creators. And you could do that, but I personally don't like this. The reason being is that the point of running a YouTube ad is to put your face out there before they speak to you, and then you use a UGC creator because you're not comfortable on camera, then there are other platforms where you can just run images and, probably do better if you can just put your face in the back end, right? If you're comfortable with your face though, right? Just bear in mind, YouTube ads tend to be a little bit more expensive per lead. I typically see like anywhere to between $50 to $70 per lead. That's what I've seen some of the best companies running YouTube ads right now. And plus some of the best guys running YouTube ads right now, such as Brian Moncada. If you don't know who he is, he's the absolute guru in the YouTube ad space. Typically with real estate sellers, $50 to $70. Now it depends on the market, right? And I would run YouTube ads if you're looking to target zip codes. But if you don't want to pay $50 to $70 a lead, well, if you have I would say if you're not spending $50 a day, well, YouTube ads is going to be really capped. And so, and the con of it is that it takes time, right? Like with anything with Google, you could go like a month or 2 months and see no results at all, just because it takes more time to warm up. The algorithm just takes more time to, I guess, warm up, right? But either way, I would still do that if you're like really, really keen on like one to two zip codes. But either way, you probably still gonna be like a bit broad, because if you try to restrict it too much, the con of that is that you just don't get enough traction. So again, I would say, depending on the budget, depending if you're comfortable on camera, and depending if, of course, you are comfortable with the fact that you might be spending $40-50 a day for 1 to 2 months and see no results, and that's normal with both Google ads and YouTube ads, right? Now, and like the thing about Facebook ads, I'll be like clear with that, it works, but most people do it the wrong way. So most people, what they do is they go on Facebook, they think, okay, how can I get leads the cheapest, like in the cheapest possible way? The problem with that is that if you try to get leads in the cheapest way, then these people, they're just, oh, like I don't know who you are, why are you calling, like I don't want this, like just forget me, right? That's what happens when you try to go the cheapest way. And so, if you try to go that route, you're trying to save bucks, it's not gonna work, right? Totally upfront, if you try to run like lead forms, asking name, email, number, and try to call, it can work. It's just a volume game, and you're gonna get frustrated. Like 99% of people get frustrated with like $2 leads, because they set the expectation, hey, I can run these ads, spend $2 per lead, and then expect to convert them easily. Like if you're saving money on that side, you're spending time and energy trying to qualify them after that, right? And so what I recommend, if you do want to run Facebook ads, is that you run them, you need to increase the level of friction you put in the funnel. And I'm talking about funnels. If you don't know what a funnel is like a web page that, this should be like a web page, whatever. A funnel should be like mandatory, almost mandatory, if you want to run Facebook ads. If you like planning to use lead forms, like you can use right now with lead forms, you can use actually if then kind of thing. Like you can use questions and ask questions on lead forms to still, like, the thing about the funnel is that, and I'm gonna talk about this later, this is one of the biggest points I'm keen on, is that, okay, after that you can run what I call, like, you can have like a video thank you, where you present yourself in it, and you kind of use that to build that connection, build that gap with these people who are like typically used to hop on this like $3 form. Plus with the funnel, you can say, okay, I want to make sure this funnel takes like 2 minutes, 3 minutes to complete, right? It takes more time, you're asking for more questions, you're raising the bar, right? And so that is the scenario where run this, because then with this, even if you raise the bar, then the cost per lead could be like 25, and you could easily pull it off with $25-30 a day. So then and you don't need to be like super comfortable on camera. But again, even weighing the pros and cons, I would say both YouTube ads, Facebook ads, they both work, right? And again, biggest lesson I've learned, and I'm going to touch on this right now, is that ads are the 10-20%. Like the platform where you run ads and the ads, like, almost don't matter. I see the biggest mistake realtors make is that they do think, oh my God, like these ads, what's going to happen? Like, it's almost like these ads are the only thing that matters, when in reality is the last thing to focus on. Of course, you need to have the right strategy behind the ads. Like, how do you make the ads work? But like the idea of like, oh, my ads need to be fancy, my ads need to be like that level, like, it's just, people overthink it, right? And from what I've seen, the like most basic type of ads, they do work the best, right? Simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. Keep that in mind, right? And also, like I said, generating leads is cool, but like, okay, how do you convert them, right? And if you do want to learn how to run Facebook ads or YouTube ads, you can check probably one of the first videos I made about that, where I kind of walk you through the strategy. I'm going to put it right here. And you can check that. If I had to like explain the whole thing, it'll probably take me like 5 hours. So better not. Now, aside from that, so we talked about which ads to run. Now, how do you convert the leads you generate from the ads? I'm going to walk you through some points that you need to check off when you're building your lead generation system. So the first one is friction. Okay. So That's huge. If you don't have friction, it's gonna be tough to convert these people. So I want you right now to still set the expectation that, hey, like, it's gonna take me calling them at all times. It's gonna take some follow up, and it's gonna take you putting yourself out there. Most people run ads and they think these people are gonna fall into the lap, or I've seen a lot of times, like, marketing companies, they promise like, oh, like, leads are gonna fall into your lap, you're never gonna chase them. Yes, it can work. If you don't have a caller, if you don't have an ISA that's calling the leads on your behalf, then you have to call them and you have to follow up with them and you have to put yourself out there, right? And so I can make a separate video about the ISA thing, but either way, if you don't raise the friction, then it's gonna be like, you gotta find the sweet spot. I would say between too much, where it costs too much to get a lead, for example, depending on your budget, right? If you're spending $30 a day, that's not a lot, and your cost per lead is $100, then you're getting what, like 3 leads per week? Like, how do you expect to get traction? Like, if you have 3 calls a week, like, you make a mistake on one call, boom, the other call, the guy's pissed off, boom, wasted. Now you got one chance, right? And so still find the sweet point where you feel comfortable with it, with the volume. I would say typically, like, if you can get like 5, 7, in the beginning, starting out, of course, like, you want to raise the bar as you go, as you progress in this kind of field. But the second thing, aside from friction, right, is I would say trust, right? We are I don't know if you know who Jeremy Miner is. Jeremy Miner is a sales trainer, probably one of the best sales trainer right now, and he talks about that we're in the post-trust era. The post-trust era is, I guess, what you could say, like, the era, like, right now, people, when they go on, like, they can Google you, right? If you don't have a Google presence, like, if you don't, if you just run ads and then people don't know who you are and you call them up, it's just people right now, like, they have the mediums to verify you're legit in a way, right? And so if you build zero trust, like, with these people, and you try and call them, like, it's gonna be super tough to convert them, because it's gonna be like their defense mechanism is so high because they are being cold called 10 times a day. They're being called by these realtors who are running these ads, and they're promising the world, and then they just call them up instead of giving the evaluation they actually promised in the ad, right? And so to build trust, I made a video that I'm gonna put here in the right corner, specifically about the type of video that I tell my clients to use in the backend. It was like the video sales letter. So I always tell my clients, hey, like, look, you could run ads, have a funnel, call them up, but why make it harder for you? Why not use that moment where they're still interested, put them in front of you, in front of your face, your name, your voice. And the best way to do this is just one video, almost as a thank you. As soon as they fill out the form, if they pass through the friction, they pass through the obstacles, right? The key here, one of the biggest elements you can apply to your funnel, one of the biggest levers you can pull, is having a sort of like video content, is a little thing. Do not overthink it, but a way to present yourself. Hey, like, this is who I am. That's my track record. That's what I'm going to do next. And the thing here is honesty. Because I see most people, they run these ads and then they're not honest about the true intentions. So if you want to run ads and actually get listings, which I suppose you do, if you actually tell them, hey, look, I'm going to give you a call in this video, that's almost like as a thank you, then you are going to build like so much more trust than if you just run ads with a form, because they know you're going to call them, and so they're going to just block the number. If you just tell them, hey, look, up front, I'm going to give you a call, then if they do not want this, then at least they are not going to proceed, right? They're just going to stop. So run you through real quick. So the core idea is that no matter what you're doing, you're going to have, the ads, just to give you a visual idea, right? You're going to have the ads. The ads lead to a funnel. It should be like a www. And this leads to the video I just discussed. And again, if you want to do one of my latest videos, I covered this. I'm going to link it to the right corner. Now, after this, I'm going to talk about the biggest point. How do you actually convert these people who just went through this whole thing, right? And so to convert these people, I'm gonna give you some of the biggest points, some of the biggest, I guess, multipliers. Because if you're watching this, you probably want the multipliers. Don't want the like. I'm gonna give you like the nibbles. Of course, like the whole process. I'm simplifying this, right? Oh yeah, ads, funnel, video. Like I'm simplifying it, of course. But that's the point of it. But like I'm just trying to have you understand kind of how the structure works if you do wanna run some sort of ads. Like if you just have a lead form, again, like I said, it's not gonna work that great. Now, I'm gonna about the like next point, how to convert these people. I'm gonna give you some nibbles, right? Of course, if I had to talk through the entire thing, like I have master classes I give to my clients in my program, etc. But just some points. Point number one is speed. And I see most people here go totally wrong. They think, oh, I'm just gonna call them, after 10 minutes, or I'm just gonna, whenever I can. Like, it's not like whenever I can. This is literally the 80-20. This is the 20% of the actions that leads to the 80% of the results. And if you just rely on yourself, you're probably gonna fail. So if you cannot call them after 5 minutes, most of the times, then you should have a caller or build an AI that is able to text them as soon as they come in. Go to my second video I ever posted. I talk about that too. But either way, if you just rely on, if you cannot have that 5 minute speed to lead, you're going to get 80%, like not 80%, but like this is like 80-20, right? You can read like a study published by the Harvard School, like Harvard Business School, right? Where they covered that. They analyzed, I think, I don't remember how many businesses, and they found speed to lead is one of the biggest multipliers. So apply this, right? If you're spending money, why not just try and find the best ways to make more money? And one of the ways is speed, right? But I guess you probably know this in XSA. Like, okay, what if I can? Well, then you should hire a caller or, again, have an AI. But you should say this is not as a goal, but as a standard. Because human beings will never go below their standards. So if your standard for yourself is, hey, I'm going to call everything within 4 minutes, then you're going to, like try and your absolute best to reach it. But if you say like your goal is to call every lead within 4 minutes, then you're never going to do it. Oh, it's my goal. It's cool. So that's the first thing. Very important. Second thing, aside from speed, is I would say expectations. And most people go wrong here. But you need to set the expectations that it could take 8 to 12 times to reach these people. The first time, they might not pick up the phone. They might not respond to the text. That's why, I never made a video about that. But, some of my clients, I tell them to drop the CMA off in person. We have a specific strategy about that. Because if you think about it, if you set the expectation that these people are going to pick up after 1 to 2 calls, you're going to quit. You're going to quit too soon, and then you're not going to see the results. Now, also, it takes more time than you think. Kind of talking about expectations. So it's not going to take a month to get listings. And it's normal, right? If you're doing this, it's a long-term play. And so most people set the wrong expectations, therefore convert less leads because they start half-assing, right, the leads because they do stop having faith in the strategy. Because they think, oh, like, I haven't got listings in a month, this doesn't work, right? And that's the biggest problem. You start half-assing the leads and then you create this negative feedback loop. Never ends. Okay, third point when it comes to lead conversion, converting these leads. The third point, this is one of the biggest ones. When you're talking to these people, like what happens when you actually are in a conversations, this should be your priority, right? The priority shouldn't be to like book a big listing appointment, like try and like push them, to sign the contract the first time you meet. The goal should be just go in person. That's the biggest thing. And like, I would say if you don't have a script right now, you like scripts, you shouldn't run scripts, but you should have a way, I guess, to know what to say, what to say, when to say in specific times of the conversation. I'm going to make a separate video about the script, but either way, the biggest thing here, I always talk about this, read Too Nice for Sales by Barry Jenkins. Because like with these leads, when you talk to them, you're not going to convert any if you say, oh, when do you want to sell? Are you looking to sell right now? Like, what are you like? These people are ignorant in a good way, like in a positive way. Like they're rightly so, they're not educated about the process, so they want to avoid it. And so you should approach the conversations with almost like Chris Voss, the FBI negotiator, talks about this, like I would say empathy, right? Understand they don't know anything about the process, they want to avoid it. And if you go in the conversation asking questions, right? The key here is to ask questions to get to the truth. And most of them, they do want to sell, and sooner rather than later, the problem is if they tell you, and even if they tell you they're not ready, right? You have ways to go in person. The biggest thing is like if you focus on this, going in person, that's one of the biggest levers you can pull as soon as you can, because you're competing no matter what against a brother, cousin, whatever. If you go in person, show to them you're the best, right? But once you go in person, it's easier to show them anything on the phone, right? And in person, I'm talking about you go in person, right? You could use, I help my clients with the renovations early on. If they're like 6 to 12 months out, boom, go in person, help them with the renovations. You are gonna be the realtor. Or you could say, okay, like I just wanna, I guess, give you something accurate. I need to see the home, right? And that's the truth. Like you have different levers to pull to actually go in person, but that's by far the biggest thing. Now, kind of cover the biggest points, which ads to run, how to convert those leads, how to think through this. Now, of course, I'm just giving you nibbles. To talk about the entire process, it will take me like 20 hours. But if you do want us to come in and help you out with this stuff, like do this for you, totally done for you, click the link below and you book a call personally with me, not with a random sales rep. But even if not, just subscribe, like this video, and I'm going to see you inside one of the next videos.